Hey people. And today, oh, it's tough getting old. Hey, dude. I thought, sorry, I thought I'd tell you a little about what I like in a guitar. I know you don't care, but I thought it'd be interesting. First of all, I'll start. Hello. Yes, I love you. I started playing when I was 11, and I had a 3/4 size classical guitar, no name. And then my parents gave me a Squire Strat for Christmas the next Christmas, so I could play with the jazz band in middle school. And so I liked Strats. I started playing guitar again. I was sheltered. I was a small child. I was 11 years old, and I was born in '77. It was '88, beginning of '88 when I started to play, I think. And I was influenced by mainly Eric Clapton in Cream. And I didn't realize at the time that he played a Les Paul. I only knew, pictures of him from the 70s and 80s with Blackie or Brownie. And so I knew I liked the Strat. And I got the Strat, and the Squire Strat was great. Stay. And I loved it, and it was great, and I was very happy with it. And a couple of years later, an opportunity, what's the matter? You're okay. An opportunity to get a Les Paul came along through a friend of my father's. I was able to get a Les Paul for a reasonable price, and it was a late '70s Les Paul Custom Cherry Sunburst, and we never really saw eye to eye. And eventually, it was about 8 billion pieces of wood, 5,000 pounds, and it never sounded right. It sounded sort of thin and wheezy, and I just never felt a connection with it. And so in '94, I traded that in for an old 57 reissue Strat, early '80s one. And since then I just sort of have stuck with the Strat sort of ballpark. Yes, with the tremolo, right? The vibrato bar. Most of my guitars are bolt-on necks, maple necks usually. A lot of the time, one piece or sometimes two piece. This is a one piece maple neck. This is a Kramer, mid '80s Kramer JK1000, Japan only model, and I bought this on eBay from Japan. And somebody had painted the headstock. Matches the body really well, but these weren't painted headstocks when they were sold new. La la la, what am I talking about? The guitar, a reason I like '80s Kramers is because, for the most part, especially Japan models, they were made by ESP. And ESP quality, as it is today, it was then, is really top notch. And this guitar, again, one piece maple neck, fretboard is part of the maple neck, got the walnut striped truss rod there. But the entire neck is one piece of wood. Even the headstock. This whole thing is one piece of wood. And a headstock like this, you'd never be able to get a neck like that in one piece these days. You need to be like 3 or 5 pieces to make that happen. And I love it. The body is probably older. I think it's older. It's light. It's nice. Sounds full. Strats, the first couple of years of production, 54, 55, 56, were ash, swamp ash like the Tellys. And then they switched to alder. And pretty much since then they've always been alder. And it's a great wood. It's a great wood. It all works nicely together. And of course Strats introduced, the 54 Strat introduced the Strat tremolo. We call it tremolo, it's really vibrato. Tremolo changes the volume of notes. Vibrato changes the pitch of notes. Get the hell out of here. And the Strat tremolo really changed a lot. I mean, before that you had the Bigsby, which is a great tremolo, but it's not a Strat tremolo. And then, about 1980, Floyd Rose made his whole thing here, where you lock the strings here, and then you put fine tuners, so you didn't have to unlock the nut, and then tune up there. Sort of like when you have fine tuners on a violin, if you're classically inclined. The reason I like these, and also 25.5 inch scale, The Gibsons have 24 and 3/4-ish scale, and PRSs have 25-inch scale. I think Gretsch is a little smaller than 24 and 3/4. With the longer scale, you get more string speaking length, and it has more ability to resonate, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you can tune it down lower, and it won't get flubby. It's more percussive. Sort of, the word you use a lot is piano-like, where it just has that bottom end that doesn't fart out. And also with the bolt-on neck, it has a real, I don't know, it's not crispness, but it's a nice. The set neck guitars I had or have are sort of like more mid-range focused, whereas this is more full spectrum, and I like that. It's not so, and the neck through Horizon, ESP Horizon, is very mid-range focused, whereas this is a lot more open, I think. Open is the word, and it just gives you a nice spread and feel. Most Strats have 3 single coils, sometimes a humbucker at the bridge. This, again, Kramer came to real notoriety. They started off in the 70s with aluminum neck guitars, but then in the 80s, obviously their primary endorser was Ed Van Halen, and that's where I came to know Kramer's. And his big thing was, of course, one pickup at the bridge, and it really it's great. I enjoy having a couple of guitars with just one pickup because it really strips things down and doesn't slow you down, I guess. You don't worry about what's going on with the pickup positions and the tone knob and all that. You just have one option, and you can fiddle with the volume knob to, usually with a good amp, you can get a lot of different tones from one volume knob. And the Floyd Rose trim, originally, again, this is a Japan model and didn't have the Floyd Rose. Some of them did, some of them had Floyd Roses and Seymour Duncans. This one had this is the original stock pickup, which I think is pretty much like an ESP. What's it called? LH200, I think. The ones that used to be on all the ESPs in the late 80s and early 90s. But it had the TRS tremolo, which I believe at the time was made in Japan. And while the Goto Floyd Rose license trem and the Ibanez Edge Floyd Rose license trem are both made in Japan throughout that time and now, are possibly the greatest Floyd Rose trems there are, including an actual Floyd Rose. Although actual Floyd Roses are very good too, don't get me wrong. Made by Schaller, usually I believe in Germany, and the Schaller branded ones, also very good. So those are my top 4 Floyd Roses. But this had a TRS bridge, which was not great. It was sort of, I don't even think it hewed closely to the Floyd Rose design so that it didn't have to pay the licensing for the patent agreement. It's not great. I had a Floyd Rose lying around, so I put this on, and I'm much happier now. The bridge pickup is original. It's low power. That's one thing I do like. I don't like high output pickups because they just sort of stuck with one thing. You have nowhere to go, If you have a low output pickup, you can add, a boost pedal and really pump things up on the way, an overdrive or a boost, and pump things up on the way to the end. But if you have a hot pickup, you can't really subtract. You can always add, can't subtract. It's like cooking. You can always undercook, but overcooking, you're kind of stuck. What else? What else? I don't know. I really always loved Strat style guitars and Strats themselves. And they speak to me, and a lot of people I love playing Gibsons and Gretches and, not to mention any other number of things, but I've always liked Strat style guitars. And this guy makes me pretty happy. I've had it a few years. Like I said, eBay from Japan, and really, I would love to go to Japan and just walk around those guitar stores one day. Anywho, probably yammered on enough for one day. Maybe I'll talk about some records that really made a difference to me when I was a kid next time. And, alright, sayonara. Whoa, holy God, it's hard getting up when you're getting old. Say bye-bye.